In a recent hangout on my Awake Souls channel, I read the script for this video live. The purpose was to get initial reactions, and hopefully receive constructive input as to the details of how a contract should be structured to provide the guidelines and procedures necessary to form a corporation that gives us the legal framework to monetize the production of a new technology. This video here will serve as the outreach to all potential team members until a video revealing the actual contract is published. It is a plea to receive input from the potentially interested parties to participate in the creation of the actual language used in the contract. Here is the script of this video.
Foundations.
So everybody understands what it is that I'm going through here. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is the script for what I'm calling the community prep video. And so this video that I'm going to be putting out as soon as possible to be advertising this to everybody in the entire world. And what I really want is, because there's going to be contracts in place, I want everybody's input as to what sounds fair. So as I go through this, please in the chat point out things that you think are missing or could need to be revised. And so what I'm trying to do here is a group proofread, not so much for grammatical errors, because this is going to be read, and if there's a comma wrong or something like that, it's not going to make a difference when I make the video. So I'm going to try to read this pretty clean so that I can use it in the video. But if you're paying attention as this is happening, then with your input through the chat and through the comment section here, when I go to make the video, I'll make any revisions so that it's as clean as possible. And there is going to be a application as well. So this is the script for the video, and then after this, we'll go into the actual application to the community prep video. I've been talking for some time now about my desire to organize a community, and this video is going to lay the groundwork for what it is that I have in mind. In order that you will have a clear vision of what I have in mind, I'm going to go into great detail as to how this community will operate and by what means it is governed. This community will not be religious. It will not file for any tax exemptions and will operate as a for-profit corporation. That being said, the profit will be taxable, so there has to be a person or a corporate entity that is responsible for paying those taxes. I believe that I have come up with a business model that is unlike all other business models before it, and I believe that I have figured out a way to structure it legally in a way that benefits all that participate in this venture greatly. I want to begin by making this first point very clear. This is a job that I am hiring you for. You will be my employee. This is a paid position with benefits. You're going to have to pay taxes on that income. Like I said, this is a brand new, one-of-a-kind business model. It is going to break with all of the other traditions. So let's start with the absolute basics. I'm hiring Christian ministers to share the truth about free energy and who the source of that energy is. Together, we will market, build, and distribute flywheel generators throughout the entire world, along with many construction and sustenance projects. The business model I am going to use will make those that participate in this venture the beneficiaries of the profit of this revolutionary technology and infrastructure build-outs. The benefits package is where this model diverges from all other business models, because this corporation is going to make itself responsible for providing housing, food, and as many other basic necessities as it can self-provide. So this entails working and living together as a community and necessitates harmonious ideologies and a common code of conduct. As a Bible-believing Christian, I am adopting the Holy Inspired Scriptures as the Code of Conduct handbook. This is the key to the success of a harmonious community and what makes it unduplicatable by anyone that would attempt a similar business model. All employees of the corporation will have to sign a contract that dictates that in all matters, the Holy Inspired Scriptures will govern our interactions with fellow team members. The corporation by design will emulate patterns set out in the Holy Scriptures and be governed by a board of directors that consists of 13 brothers. The board of directors will be responsible for the operation of the corporation for financial gain, community initiatives, and code of conduct enforcement. That being said, the board members will be selected by me on a spiritual qualifications basis. Ronnie James Harris has already stated his intention of being a co-founder in this new venture. I will be the CEO and Ronnie will be the COO. We will fill all the other roles until suitable candidates are found to fill the other positions. As CEO, I will be responsible for filling the 11 unoccupied positions. As the positions are being populated, if the board has an even number of members, the CEO will be given 2 votes to prevent any deadlocks because all corporate decisions will be passed by majority vote. Up until the time that a board has been completely populated, the CEO will maintain exclusive right to remove a board member. Once the board is complete, removal and replacement of a board member will be controlled by majority vote. The board will be tasked with the renewal of contracts for employment of all corporate community members or the terminating thereof. Structure of contracts. The corporation is hiring independent biblical Christian missionary contractors. You will be given a 1099 for all earnings over $600. This is a 3-month temporary position. Your contract will be renewed if you're a good fit for the community. Contract renewals will be voted on by the board at least 1 month in advance of a contract renewal date. In the case of a non-renewal, an eviction notice will be served. Termination. The board will be permanently tasked with being the enforcers of the biblical code of conduct among all community members, and in the case of severe wrongdoing, will be forced to vote on an immediate termination of contract. If the board votes for an immediate termination of contract, the member will be escorted off the community property immediately with no severance pay, and arrangements will be made to return any personal property they may have on community grounds. No member of the community is immune to a termination of contract. There will be an application process, and contracts will be offered to suitable candidates. To qualify to be a TEAMYAHAWASHI member, you will have to meet certain criteria. So let's begin with job qualifications. You must be an independent biblical missionary contractor 18 years old or older and be able to work in the USA. If married, both must fill out an application. Children under 18 must apply at age 18. There are 4 fundamental truths that you must agree with. Due to the research that Ronnie James Harris and myself have done, we have confirmed 4 key truths that divide us from the majority of the world. The type of division that the Holy Scriptures expect of a group set apart from the world and focused on righteousness and truth. Therefore, every candidate must support and promote these fundamental truths, or there will be no harmony in the community. I have posted these 4 truths in the description box of many of my videos, and the focus of all of my content on this channel has been to provide the evidences to support that they are in fact key fundamental truths. 1. Earth is fixed and immovable. Heliocentrism is the great deception. 2. The AE map and model is impossible. Created and disseminated primarily by the Freemasons to destroy the credibility of the Bible with an easily debunked model that they have worked so hard to try and link the Bible to. 3. We are in a simulation/realm. The material reality we have all been taught by scientists that goes back to the ancient Greek philosophy of atomism is impossible. 4. The creator of this world is the author of the Bible, YHWH, pronounced Yahweh, and he is manifest in this world as our Savior with the name Yahawashi. There was no letter J until about 500 years ago, which is about the time that the Great Deception was rolled out. There will be a section about your physical qualifications. What skills do you have? What strengths do you have? And what weaknesses do you have? Your physical health and wellness will be reviewed. There will be a section about your spiritual qualifications. How long have you been a practicing Christian? What of your ministry can you provide evidence of? There will be a section regarding your ability to provide your own housing initially. Until the corporation is providing housing, it will be essential for team members to provide their own. Having some sort of RV dwelling is recommended for flexibility during the initial growth phase. Specific job openings will be posted, but applications can be taken from candidates that feel they have something meaningful that they can contribute that is not currently posted. There will be a section for your background and references will be asked for. Specific questions like, have you ever worked for the military, government, intelligence agencies will be asked. There will be a section about your criminal and civil liability background, including any outstanding judgments, alimony, and child support payments. There will be a section for you to explain why you are interested in applying for this position. When applications are received, they will be reviewed by the board and suitable candidates will be contacted for recorded video conferences. The board will then vote whether or not to offer a contract. Acceptance of contract. The acceptance of a contract is legally binding upon both parties, and I'm going to put massive amounts of detail into the contract for protection of the corporation and for you as a new team member, because I assume that this venture will not work out for everyone. When you sign your contract, you will be entitled to your wages for 3 months. Your review will be at least 1 month before your contract expires, so you have the ability to make arrangements for your departure. In the initial growth phase, there might be some interruptions in the payment of wages, but the corporation will be responsible for the payment of all contract wages for the full 3 months unless a contractor is terminated. The offer. I'm going to provide some preliminary rough numbers for what the contract may look like so as to prepare you as to roughly what it may look like. It is my working intention right now to mark up each flywheel generator sold about $2,000. The design and plans for the generator are being given away for free, so a person that has repurposable materials and the tools and skills to assemble one themselves could save that money. But for a person that does not have the materials or tools or skills, it is a fair amount to pay for not having to pay for electric again. That being said, 10 units sold a day generates $20,000 in revenue. A 3-brother team could easily fulfill those orders, and if they worked 5 days a week, would generate $100,000 in revenue. It is my plan to offer every team member $2,000 a week in salary. So after 1 week in this scenario, the corporation would have $94,000 and the board would be tasked with determining how to reinvest that money in the community. Rapid growth through reinvestment is the plan. For a contract worker that has been renewed and worked a full year, they would receive a 1099 for $104,000 or $208,000 for a couple. Because the ambition of this venture is to create a harmonious, self-sufficient community, there will be much outside the task of marketing, manufacturing, and distributing flywheel generators. The wages will be salary and not hourly pay. Team members will be expected to participate in multiple roles. Once we have our own property, we will be planting and harvesting, preserving and preparing food. We will build our own infrastructure and dwelling. We will provide our own childcare and instruction. We will provide our own health care to the extent possible. Our jobs will never stop at exactly 40 hours. It will truly be a lifestyle. 1 day a week will be guaranteed off of work though. Regardless of the situation, no one will be asked to work 7 days a week ever. Biblical holidays will be observed and time off for satanic holidays will not be granted unless a personal vacation day is used. After 1 continuous year of employment, a person will be given 7 vacation days in addition to Sabbaths and biblical holidays. Every year, 7 days of vacation will be added until maxed out at 5 years of service and 35 vacation days. For vacations that you will be vacant from the community, it is asked that you give a 60-day notice to the board. Personal days due to illness, injury, grief, and emergency are to be taken as necessary. The benefits each team member receives will be the result of the reinvestment of the corporate net income. You can think of yourself as a shareholder, but there will not be stock issued. So let's up our scenario. At 100 units sold a day, the corporation is seeing revenue of $200,000 a day, or $1 million in a 5-day work week. A reasonable expectation for the amount of team members in an operation achieving this output would be about 40, 20 in production and the other 20 fulfilling other roles regarding the community. Wages for a week would be $80,000 and corporate profits would be $940,000. At 500 units a day, let's guess that the amount of team members would be about 100. Wages for a week would be $200,000 and revenue would be $4,800,000. The corporate revenue will always be strategically used to increase economies of scale, technology, and automation, with a focus on making as many team members as possible available for community work. At this point, the reinvestment of corporate funds in the community will become a daunting task for the board. Programs for helping the poor will become necessary because there simply will not be enough ways that we can spend all the money on the community each and every year. Because it is the ambition of the corporation to pay for and produce as many of the necessities of life such as housing, food, clothing, and healthcare, members that had to take care of those expenses prior to the corporation being able to care for them will be reimbursed. The community. What to expect initially? Initially, we have to congregate in one location. I am living out of a fifth-wheel RV and am mobile anywhere in contiguous states of America. That being said, I'm in Texas and I'm partial to Texas. The climate in Texas is much more suitable to living out of an RV full-time than the northern states, but there are other southern states that would work just as well. Because of the volume of materials we should plan on using as a corporation, proximity to shipping and receiving should play key roles, as well as fertile ground and water supplies for where the community is established. The initial purchase of land for the community will be determined by the founding team members and will establish a base of operations that the community can then grow from. All contracted team members will begin accruing seniority based on the date of hire. Seniority will guide most internal operations within the community, including the choice of housing, applying internally for newly posted jobs, and use of vacation days. Seniority will give you preferential treatment in all matters that have to be dealt out preferentially. Board members must still abide by seniority. Board members do not receive any extra pay and a heap of extra responsibility. The salary is flat across all positions regardless of age or gender. There will be no pay raises nor differing salaries. It is through the excess that we reap that all will be blessed or receive their bonuses. This architecture encourages the raising up of everyone to raise oneself up. This is a true no one left behind program. What you should expect initially if you're a founding team member. Initially, the focus will be on the marketing, manufacturing, and fulfillment of flywheel generators. Tasks that must be fulfilled include bookkeeping, customer care, marketing and sales specialists, fabricators, material handling, and shipping expediters. As we are landed, we will need builders, farmers, cooks, childcare and instruction, health practitioners, IT staff, and a variety of household product producers. Eventually, we will need licensed CDL drivers, ship captains, and pilots, along with other specialty trades. Work will be like any other job you have performed for a company, but in the community, it will not be like you can go home at the end of 8 hours and only worry about yourself. You are making the commitment to help everyone else in the community succeed at the same level as yourself. You will be investing in your fellow team members regularly and organize efforts by the community for specific tasks such as a harvest will take members away from their usual duties to accomplish a task quickly and for the benefit of all. Community members must be flexible and be able to cross-perform multiple tasks at the outset until job specialization comes with a broader team base. Even then, everyone will be asked to participate in projects from time to time that goes outside of their typical duties. Well-rounded team members will be the most valuable. Because everyone will be paid salary, there will be no clock to punch. It is expected that you will be putting in more than 40 hours of work a week because it's not only your wages, but it's also your housing, food, and every other service we can provide. Being busy and productive will be self-evident, but no one is expected to burn themselves out. 1 day a week, you will be forbidden from doing any work for the benefit of the corporation. You may work the rest of what you consider to be a suitable work week the other 6 days. Fellowship will be an integral part of the community. The purpose behind the exclusiveness of this business model is to provide an environment where the people that you work with, eat with, and live near are all of like mind as yourself, and that you may build friendships with the most trustable, compassionate, competent, respectful fellow believers in Christ in the world. It can be expected that team members will be passionate in sharing the truth about salvation through Yahawashi without ceasing. They should have a ministry that is reaching out to the unbelievers. They should be building up and encouraging one another. I expect bonfires with songs of praise to Yahweh. We should also expect differences of opinions and conflicts. This is where all team members will have contractually agreed to abide by the Matthew 18 principle. First, team members are extolled to work it out amongst themselves. Then 2 more team members are to be involved along with any witnesses. If still unresolved, or the accusations of wrongdoing without repentance are true, or the severity of the wrongdoing is a danger to the community, the dispute will be brought before the board, and the board will decide what action needs to be taken. The board wants to act in judicial matters the least amount that it can. It is essential that each team member offer the maximum amount of leeway within biblical guidelines so as not to be a burden to each other and limit each other's choices, free will, and personal expression. Such a climate would be stifling, inhospitable, and become petty. The board will meet Monday mornings at 8 a.m. every week to coordinate all functions of the community, as well as a monthly long-term objectives meeting. The monthly meeting will be tasked with formulation of strategies for the use of the profits of the corporation. It is to prioritize a list of objectives and to authorize the use of corporate funds to achieve those objectives. The key directive of the board will be to achieve 100% total reinvestment of all corporate profit on an annual basis. While Christians are commanded to pay taxes where due, we are also commanded to not store up riches here on earth. So why let money pile up in a bank account where it'll get taxed? As close to 100% in community infrastructure reinvestment as possible will lower our tax liability and improve our quality of life at the same time. The contract. The contract will be formalized as quickly as possible. It will have all the decided upon corporate names and entities with articles of incorporation for the federal and state government that ends up being selected as their base of operations. Those articles of incorporation will have the legal language based on the concepts beginning to be defined in this video. The next step is refinement, and that step requires the input of interested, independent, biblical Christian minister contractors. I will begin the process by accepting applications, and with those candidates identify details they would like to see defined that have not been addressed or have been addressed and you see the need for refinement. Together, the initial members will create a contract that we all want to sign and expect future team members to sign as well. I've made an initial first draft of application and will have a link to a downloadable PDF. I have contemplated using a form with fields that could be filled out electronically or a web portal for the application process, but have decided that a handwritten and scanned copy of the application will be of more benefit. I can assure you that this corporation will be formed. We already have 2 members, and that is all we need to get started. So you understand how committed I am to this venture. You have my word right now that when the corporation has been established, I will be making the corporation the sole beneficiary of my estate. I'm all in. Since this script was initially released July 17th, I have received no input to revisions or additions, but I did think of one more thing myself that I feel needs to be a part of the application process. One of the things that I believe is essential to the community is the use of everyone's likeness in the sharing and disseminating of personal testimony both within the community and with the public. Board meetings will be recorded with audio and video from each member's perspective. The board will then decide how to use that content to keep all members of the community informed through the publishing of videos. Community projects will be recorded and used in videos to share with the world our progress, to encourage other Christians to imitate this new and unique business model while sharing the good news about Yahawashi's coming new kingdom. Team members that cannot help the community physically will be asked to share their personal testimony on a regular basis, while video technicians record and turn that testimony into videos for publication. While all content will be distributed for free, strategies will be employed to monetize the content along with ancillary revenue streams. Privacy will be respected though. Members will have to be informed that their likeness is being used. No one will be allowed to secretly record another member without their permission or consent other than the board of directors in a judicial meeting situation. The board will be contractually obligated to record all meetings, including judicial meetings, regardless of a member's consent. So I'm making a revised application for employment that has a question regarding your willingness to sign a release of likeness contract that will be a part of the official contract that everyone must sign to be hired. The updated application can be downloaded from a link in the description box of this video. So remember, there is no contract yet. This is an application process to identify potentially interested members. During this phase, we will be working on the creation of the contract together. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.